Choosing the right sunscreen that suits your skin can actually be really hard, especially if you've had problem skin like acne or rosacea. Sunscreens can be the bane of many people's lives. So, what are my top tips? First of all is if we're talking about faces, do look for a dedicated face sunscreen. They are formulated slightly differently than body sunscreens. They often don't have oil in them, whereas body sunscreens are often a little bit more greasy. That's why many people find if they use one all over sunscreen that they're getting breakouts on the face. And there are many different types of face sunscreen. So if you have a more sensitive skin, I would look for one which is a mineral only sunscreen. If you struggle with pigmentation, there are great formulations which can help to even out your pigmentation. If you have greasier skin, then there are excellent mattifying ones which can really help to decrease shine that sunscreens can give. So it's about having a little play around and maybe getting some expert advice to look for the formulations that could suit you best. But when you're looking at things from a safety perspective, what should you be looking for? If you're buying a sunscreen for everyday use in the UK, then for most days an SPF 30 is enough. Although I would say if it's the summer and it's a hot day, always use an SPF 50. Now when you're reapplying throughout the day, I often at that point use a top-up mist, so a spritz that can go on over your makeup. But it's also important to remember that's not okay as your only sunscreen because it won't give you enough protection. It's just good as a top-up. SPF does only tell you about UVB protection though. So UVB is the part of the sun spectrum that makes us burn, whereas UVA is the one that causes DNA damage and also skin aging, so skin cancers and skin aging. So it's really important to look for a sunscreen that has broad spectrum UVA coverage, and this can be a little bit more confusing. You might see that there's a circle around the UVA, you might see a star rating on the bottle, and if you can find one with 5-star broad spectrum UVA coverage, that's the gold standard. You might also want to look for one that's got blue light protection, especially if you spend a lot of time in front of screens. And so starting to understand how to read an ingredients list and looking for filters like iron oxide, for example, can be a good one. If you're someone who's going to be swimming a lot in the sea, whether you're a diver or a snorkeler, or you just like to swim in the sea a lot, then it's also maybe important to think about looking for reef-friendly sunscreens. And there are some ranges which are almost entirely reef-friendly now, but this comes down to the specific filters in chemical sunscreens. If you're not comfortable looking for that or reading the individual bottles, then sticking to mineral sunscreens is a good way to stay reef friendly. Sunscreens can come in a range of different price points and it can be really hard to pick a good one out. So what are my top ones? So if you're looking for a bargain, you can't really go wrong with Altruist. It's available on Amazon, it's sub £10 and it's a really effective formulation. The one thing I would say is it's a little bit greasy, so it doesn't suit all skin types, but there's no excuse for saying nowadays that you can't afford a good sunscreen. This one is top-notch, dermatologist developed and really widely available. Go up a tiny bit in price and you come to La Roche-Posay, and their Anti-Helios range is one of my favourites. There's a range of finishes and a range of formulations, so again sometimes it can take a little bit of experimentation to find the one that suits your skin type best, but they're really effective, they're top-notch technology, and they're sub £20. Another one that's good around that sort of price point is Vichy. They have some great sunscreens, again sub £20, which can be worth a try. Going up a tiny bit further are Heliocare, and Heliocare have long-term been one of my favourites. They've got great sunscreens for kids, they've got great ones for adults, they've got one that's targeted at red skin for rosacea, they've got a gel oil free which is excellent for acne, and then they've got great all-round more moisturising ones like the water gel or the fluid cream. So there really is something in the Heliocare range to suit absolutely everyone, and they have in them extra antioxidants, for example, that help to protect the cells a little bit more. When we get up a little bit further, one of my favourite brands is INSTITUT ESTHEDERM. Now they have a totally different approach to sunscreen, so having told you to look out for an SPF and a broad spectrum UVA, you won't find those on the ESTHEDERM bottles. You'll find either a 2-star rating or a 3-star rating. 3-star is what you want if you're going to the Med or you're going to a tropical country, whereas 2-star is what you'd wear in the UK on a not so sunny day. If you have problem-free skin, they actually have a concept that's designed to help your skin tan naturally while protecting your DNA. It's very clever, and that's called the Adapter Sun range. So brilliant if you like a healthy glow but you want to keep your skin protected. For those of you with pigmentation problems, they've got really sophisticated technology that can help to even out your skin's pigmentation, or for anyone on medication applications that might make them more sun sensitive, like Roaccutane, they have a brilliant no sun formulation, so are really worth a look. I also really like the Murad SPF. They're a bit more of an investment, but for example, the SPF drops for me, they're just like a lightweight serum. They go on so easily and are so easy to incorporate into a skincare routine. And when you get to those higher price points, you're often paying for more sophisticated technology and maybe more elegant formulations. So it's worth looking if that's within your budget, because you'll find something that you love. And for me, the key with a good sunscreen is finding one that you enjoy using, because you're going to be using it as part of your routine every single day. If this content has been useful for you, please give it a thumbs up or send me a little message below, and please do subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this.